Hi everyone. So just in time for tax season, we're going to find out how much Mr. Lee had to pay in taxes this year and last year. So let's start with last year. Last year he made $20,000. So let's break that down. Because as you can see up here, depending on how much money you make, you have to pay a certain amount of tax. So if you only make $75,000 or $7,500, you don't pay any tax. But for any amount of money that you make between $7,500 and $5,000 over that, so notice 7,500 plus 5,000 is equal to 12,500. So for that $5,000 up to 12,500, you pay 2%. So let's find out. So for the first $7,500, he did not pay any tax. For the subsequent $5,000, he paid 2%. 2%. So what's left over? We are at 12,500 and he made 20,000. So for the next $10,000, you pay 3% tax. But if we add 10,000 here, we're going to get 22,500, and he didn't make that much money. So how much money can we fit into this tax bracket? That's what it's called. So how much money did he make? How much more can we add? Well, we can add another $7,500 before we get to 20,000. And if you don't believe me, you can punch it into your calculator and figure it out, and these should add up to 20,000. So for the subsequent $7,500, he paid 3%. Okay, now that we have our breakdown, let's find out how much these taxes amount to. So here he paid 0, so I'm not going to calculate anything. But for this tax bracket here, he paid 2%, which I can represent as 0.02 on $5,000. And then he also paid 3% or $0.03 on $7,500. Okay, 2% of 5,000 is $100, and 3% of 7,500 is $225. So the grand total is $325. So he had to pay $325 in taxes after he made $20,000. So you see the way the system is set up is that people who don't make a lot of money don't pay a lot of taxes. People who make lots of money end up paying quite a bit more in taxes. So that's how much he paid last year. Let's find out how much he paid this year. This year he made $35,000, so that's quite a bit more, and we have to break that down as well. 35,000. So for the first 7,500, we know that he doesn't pay anything in taxes. Then the next bracket is $5,000. We know that on 5,000 he pays 2%. And this time we can add the whole $10,000 here. So on that $10,000 he pays 3%. Okay, so where are we now? 7,500 plus 5,000 is 1,250 plus 10,000 is 2,250. we have to get to 35,000, so we can add another 10,000 here in this fourth tax bracket. So another 10,000, and in this bracket he pays 5%. Are we done? Are we done yet? No, we have $2,500 to go before we reach 35,000. So on the remaining $2,500, he pays a whopping 10% in tax. Okay, now we have things all laid out nicely, and we can figure out how much of the tax he's actually paying. So on $7,500 he pays nothing, and 2% on $5,000 added to 3% on $10,000 and 5% on the next $10,000 that he makes, and yet again a whole 10% on the remaining $2,500. So 2% of 5,000 is $100. 3% of 10,000 is $30. Wait a second, $300. 5% of 10,000 is $500, and finally 10% of 2,500 is $250. So let's add all this up. 400, 900, a grand total of 1,150. So this year he paid quite a bit more in taxes than last year. In fact, we will subtract 1,150 minus last year he paid only 325, and the difference is $825, and I believe that was what the question was. How much more income tax did he pay this year than last year? Yes, $825 more this year.